Hey guys, what is up? My name is Jlunce, and today we are going to be reviewing the brand new Mission Impossible movie, the final Mission Impossible movie. Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning, the final movie in this goddamn 8-movie long franchise. I cannot believe there are 8 Mission Impossible movies out there. Kind of crazy. Either way, I saw the movie last night, actually, and with some friends, and I thought it was definitely worth discussing because, I mean, the final chapter in a action franchise as long-running and as famous as this one, kind of a tentpole, flagpole franchise for the main man, Tom Cruise. We'll discuss him more later. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on the mic and discuss my reaction, discuss my thoughts on the film, not with any scripted shit like I usually do with these movie, TV show, video game centric topics. I know that maybe you prefer that, but I kind of want to just divulge my thoughts because this movie was a lot. This movie was a lot. I mean that in mostly a good way. You know, I have been a fan of and have praised, kind of loved this franchise for years. Ever since I was a kid, I've seen all of them. I don't love all of them equally. I will say. I do think that the first movie and the sixth movie are definitely the best. The first one, yes, plot holes, sure, but has the best story. It's the first one, obviously, as well, so it kind of starts all the tropes. And the sixth one, I think the sixth one is one of the best action films of the last, 10 years. I don't have a problem saying that. I think the movie is amazing in regards to just the action feats. And, yeah, I think all of them are solid, which is a pretty big rarity for an action franchise as long-running as this one. But really, we want to talk about this new movie here, the last Mission Impossible movie. And going into it, I kind of thought, I don't buy it because Tom Cruise, has been making these for a while, loves making them, they make a lot of money, and I wasn't exactly buying that it was going to be the last one. But based on what happens in the film, which, by the way, I will go ahead and say, spoilers, I'm going to talk about spoilers. You get into the movie, there's a lot of shit to spoil, so yeah, going to go into that. Yeah, this movie is a gargantuan in terms of just scope and scale. I mean, the action in this movie is insanity. This movie is absolutely insane. And the insanity of the action is also translated to the insanity of the story, because the story of this movie is kind of similar to the first movie or even the sixth movie in terms of the complexity of it and how there's a lot of moving parts. You really have to pay attention to a lot of lines of dialogue to understand exactly what's going on. I wouldn't say it's a very good story because the whole AI entity shit is a little bit much, a little stupid, a little ham-fisted, a little bit too reminiscent of other movies and shows that have done this sort of antagonistic force as this digital virus sort of thing. But I mean, it's not a bad plot. It's a little bit wacky and goofy. It's definitely big in scope, grand in scope, which is a good thing. Honestly, it makes sense for the fact that this is the last movie. And because the last movie, they really the stunts that Tom Cruise performs in this movie are insane. And particularly the submarine sequence where he has to get the fob code thing to be able to stop the AI from destroying the world, where he's in that little part of the submarine where all the missiles are moving around the water. He has to get out through the propeller, through the propeller ejection or the missile ejection. That scene was is probably gonna go down as one of the most intense and best scenes in the franchise, up there with like, you know, the whole vault scene in the first movie, the foot chase scene in the sixth movie, or the bathroom scene in that movie, or even the Burj Khalifa scene, or the underwater scene in the fifth movie. It is, I mean, it is insane. The level, what Tom Cruise is willing to go through to perform these stunts is definitely, I do love it. I do love Tom Cruise as an actor. I really appreciate the fact that he just goes out there and his number one goal is, his only goal is just to entertain you for 2.5 hours, in this case almost 3 hours, and just, you go home and that's it. You know, you think, man, that was awesome. Then that's great. You know, the man is 61 years old, 62, 61, either way, and it looks incredible. I can't fucking believe that he's as old as he is. It's insane to me. I don't know. And the plane stunts at the end.
Out, and then we just start seeing how can I get 0G between the wings and what can we do. And I don't know if you've ever had your hand outside a window going about 145 miles an hour. I don't know if you've done that.
Yeah. But I mean, how do you even
60 miles an hour and then, you know, multiply it, but feel the force of it. It was pretty intense. I gotta say, it was
how do
pretty intense.
you breathe? I mean,
that's a good question. I didn't realize, like, that amount of force of air, I can't breathe. You know, I mean, the air particles coming off that propeller are traveling at the speed of sound, so the air is going around the fuselage like this. And when the airplane went upside down, and also the engine would stop. So, like, we did it, like, there's stuff where I'm there, and I was like, okay, let's see how long we can hold that.
The action in this movie, it does have, the gunfights and the fist fights aren't, like, the best in the franchise, but really the big set pieces are where this movie really just shines in terms of how the action is handled, and I love that. I think that it's impressive. It really is. I think Christopher McQuarrie and Tom really and all the actors really did a great job selling the stunts as well. Totally. But the plot in this movie, I know I'm circling back to the plot, but the way that they essentially they call back a lot, and there's a lot of fan service, in this movie, and a lot of it is kind of important to the plot. Like, what's really weird is that this movie kind of makes the third movie, Mission Impossible 3, the one with his wife, like, really important, kind of for no reason. Like, they have the whole anti-God virus thing, and that apparently Gabriel is like, oh, you caused this because you didn't know it, but that was what allowed the virus, the entity to exist. And it's like, why? And I can't even imagine, like, being a casual Mission Impossible fan, going to the theater and seeing how there are so many shots that are just like callback, or just like straight shots from previous films, or straight callbacks from it. Like, it's kind of a bit much, and I get that they want to make this the swan song for the series and the Ethan Hunt character, and that's fine. You know, it's definitely bloated. It's definitely too long. It's definitely overstuffed with plot and plot conveniences and a whole bunch of crap. And there's so many scenes where it's like, wait, well, how did that happen? Like, how does he have their parachute in that scene? How did they know to find him in the ocean at that time? Or it's just incomprehensible luck. And all the scenes by the president, where Angela Bassett is like sitting with a bunch of like good actors, like Bill Offerman is there, or is it Bill Offerman? Whatever. Bill Offerman's there, and Holt McCaney, I don't know these names, bro. The guy from Mindhunter is also there. The lady from Ozark is also just sitting there, and it's like all these actors are kind of just wasted as just like, oh, president, we need to do what's right. We need to nuke everything, or else it's the entity. We don't trust Tom Cruise. It's like it's kind of cliche and dumb, but it's not the acting's bad, and it makes sense most of what happens, admittedly. But the plot is mostly there to just kind of get you from point A to point B. Even though I thought that Isai Morales or Del Rio from Ozark, as how I remember him, was pretty great as the villain. I think he adds a lot more. He adds this cold demeanor to where he knows what's gonna happen at points. I like it in the last action scene where he's like cackling at him. It's a little bit goofy, a little bit like cartoon villainous-esque, but that's fine. I don't really mind seeing that just a twisted evil guy in an action movie like Mission Impossible. And his death scene was fucking awesome. That shit was fucking great. Love that. That whole execution of his demise was great. The acting for the most part is fine. I think everyone does a fine job, mostly with the stunts and stuff. And the characters, there's a lot of characters in this movie. There's a character that is straight up just from the first movie, Jim Phelps, John Voight's character. There's a character in this movie who was almost comic relief in the previous film. God, I forgot his name. Let me oh my god, hold on, I might cut this out, but I gotta know this guy's name. This actor, I've seen him before in plenty of movies. Shia Wingham. Either way, that guy is basically Jim Phelps' son, and he's just like, he at the start of the movie, he's like, oh, you destroyed my father's name, and now at the end he just shakes Tom Cruise's hand and he saves the day. Like, there's so many characters that just like doubt, like, why do you even doubt Ethan Hunt at this point? Like, the odds are like in his favor at this point. They literally are. It's done it 8 times. 7 before this movie, but still. I mean, yeah, like, and there's Kittredge is in it, obviously. Benji's in it, obviously, and the guy from Severance is in it. I thought he was fun. I liked him a lot in it too. I mean, there's just a lot of characters. I like Kittredge a lot, though. Kittredge is, I love that character. He's awesome. I honestly wish he was more involved in the plot than just doing the same thing he did in the first movie, where he's just fucking up Ethan's plan once again because he thinks Ethan just can't possibly go through with this. But whatever, man. I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but overall, the movie. One more thing I want to mention. I do really like the way that they put Donalo back in the story. I do really like that. I think that the way that they took one line from the first movie about the joke where Kittredge was like, "Smell him, bring him to Siberia, mail him his clothes." That line, they literally just went with that line and just gave him this whole story afterwards. I thought that was really funny, really cool. Not cool, but I thought it was nice to see him again. And I thought it was fun to have him like help find the coordinates of the submarine they need to find the box. It was great. It was fun. I liked that a lot, and yeah, that was cool. I liked that. Funny enough, this movie kind of, I will say, has some pacing issues because the first 45 minutes are a lot of plot and explaining and what the plan is. There's a lot of shit they need to do to get to the end. There's some interspersed quick little fight scenes and fist fights in there, I guess. And they get the obligatory mask pulling off scene, but it was kind of a little bit. I won't say slow, but just very, very thoughtless for the first 45 minutes. It's just blazing through a ton of exposition, and it's not that interesting to watch. It's not bad. It's just you're kind of waiting when is gonna the action's gonna the really good set pieces are gonna start. But once they actually once Ethan is actually captured or taken to the president's bunker where they're deciding the world-ending shit, that's when the movie really picks up and starts getting really fun and exciting. And overall, this movie was intense. It was gripping. It was fun. It was exactly what Mission Impossible should do in a finale, flaws and all. I think that this movie was really fun. I think this movie was really great. I think if you like Mission Impossible, you'll like this movie. I think if you like the more insane stunts, you'll like this movie. I think if you like any of the previous movies, because this movie basically takes elements from almost all the movies, except the second one. The second movie sucks. It takes all the elements from it and just throws it into the story. And it does it in a relatively cohesive way, I would say. there's plot lines from the first movie than the previous movie that are kind of dropped for no reason, but whatever. You know, I liked Vin Rames's or Luther's last little dialogue bit of Manifesto where he opens the tape and he's like, "Oh, I knew you'd do it." It was cute. I liked it. It was kind of touching. I liked it. But yeah, you know, sick action. I will say I commend Tom Cruise for this kind of stuff. But honestly, one thing I will say for the future, and I think a lot of action directors should take cues from the way that McQuarrie and Cruise choreograph and really take the time to make sure these action scenes look as great as possible, because it looks like he's really doing this shit. And I have no doubt that he is for real doing this shit for some aspects of it. But one thing I will say in the future, when it comes to my boy Tom, is I do kind of hope. I'm glad that he's doing action movies still in his late 50s, early 60s. That's cool. You know, Top Gun Maverick was awesome as well. Mission Impossible was awesome as well. But I will say I would like to see him do some more drama roles again, like he did in the 90s and the early 2000s. I'm talking like, you know, Magnolia or Eyes Wide Shut, or even like A Few Good Men, Jerry Maguire. I don't love Jerry Maguire, but I wouldn't mind if he dived back into those roles again, because he can be a really good dramatic actor. Or even like a movie that I don't like very much, like The Firm. I mean, I think The Firm is not a great movie, but I wouldn't mind seeing him take roles like that again. I think that would be great. But yeah, Mission Impossible 8, satisfying finale, fun time at the theater. Go see it. Don't kid yourself and think you're above action movies these days, because you're fucking not. It's got great action. It's got a kind of convoluted, a little bit bloated, but still fun story. Pretty solid villain. And it's fun. And it's intense. I don't really have anything else to say. I'd probably give this movie like a 7.8. I'm just going to round it to an 8, honestly. 8 out of 10. I mean, it might be a little bit high for what I'd normally score these movies, for movies like this when I score movies, but I think 8's fine. I think it was a really fun movie. It's probably a little bit too high of a score, but fuck it. 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, wherever the hell. Thanks for listening to my rant on the new Mission Impossible movie. I appreciate any people coming to the channel to see what I'm talking about, what I'm cooking over here. I'm not cooking much, but it's hopefully it was worth your while. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Well, okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.